They come back and get you again?
Yes, they come back and get me and put me in an interrogation room.
And what happens when you get in the interrogation room?
So that's where they start interviewing me about my shopping trips to Saks. You know, so I'm just telling them the times I went there, what I was buying. Again, kind of letting them know I was making purchases. And when they asked me when I was there the last, I said, well, it was possibly Friday, which was the day yesterday. Well, that's the day we have you on tape as well. So that's when they pulled out those pictures.
So how many pictures did they pull out? These are still pictures?
Those are still pictures, yes.
And
so
how many?
There were 4 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
And they show you the 4 pictures?
The 4 pictures supposedly of me. And that's when I looked at the first picture and I told them that this is not me, you had the wrong guy.
And you could look at it right away and tell it.
Oh, clearly, I didn't even have to look closer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, none of the first, second, third, fourth picture, none of them were me.
So they didn't bring any of the pictures to the house when they come together. They waited till they got you back, handcuffed at the police station.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And the 4 pictures, was it the same person on each picture, or was it different people?
No, all the pictures that they pointed out to me were different people.
So they showed you pictures of 4 different people and said that you were these 4 different people.
Yes, and where, like I say, you could clearly tell that, you know, that was not me on any of them.
When you looked at the pictures, how did you know right off it wasn't you? What was distinguishable about the pictures versus yourself? And how you looked?
So one of the first picture I remember, the guy had a heavy belly, you know, so it was on a heavier set. And that's when I told him that, well, I'm not the healthiest person here, but this is clearly not me because look at this guy.
It's a bigger deal.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not me.
And these are recent pictures, so it's not like you could have lost weight.
No, I lost weight.
48 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I had lost weight years ago, but not in the last 48 hours.
Anything else?
So the second, the other thing too, the guy had a hair pierced. Both ears pierced.
Both ears pierced.
Yes. So
did he have earrings in his ears?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
You know, gold earrings. So I told him this is not me again, and I don't have my hair pierced. You know, so that's when he pulled up closer to me, and I looked at both sides of my hair and noticed that you know. And then the other picture was the guy wearing a hat. You know, and I'm like, I do not wear a hat. You know, so
even the guy in the hat, did he look anything like you?
No.
Okay.
No. You know,
so what was the only common thread between you and the 4 pictures?
The skin colors. We were all African, you know, African American black.
So all dark skin. Okay, that was the only thing that. So that could have easily come and arrested me then. Anybody dark skin could have gotten arrested.
That's
for that.
what they were looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
No other features.
No other features.
It appeared to you no other features.
At least from what I saw and what they saw after. They
So once you identified that this no way this could be you and pointed out each picture, what did they do next?
At that point, the room got really quiet and they whispered to each other and then excused themselves and walked out of the room. And then they came back a few minutes later to tell me that they were going to let me go, that I could call my wife. And that's at that time, I'm like, well, I'm not calling my wife right now. You guys took me to my house, and you're going to drive me back to my house and explain.
Were you able to call her and at least let her know that you were on your way back, or what happened?
So I called her when we got in the car.
Okay.
And I was already in Chesterfield, and he saw me. What was it, in highway or so close by the house?
So we're driving on 40, west on 40, coming back here from Chesterfield. She's driving east, trying to figure out where the police station is.
Right.
So I saw the car. I'm like, oh, that's my wife. So I asked the officer if I could borrow his cell phone. So I did, and he let me borrow his cell phone. I called her, and then, hey, I'm on my way back right now. You can turn around. I just saw you. I'll meet you at the house.
But prior to that, they didn't even let you call from the station to say you were on your way back.
No.
Even after they had acknowledged that they had made a mistake.
Yeah, but they did offer the call so I can call to tell them to come in. I didn't want to do that.
And why didn't you want to do that?
I wanted him to go home, to take me home and just explain everything.
And to his point, had he called me, I was going to ask a lot of questions. And he wanted the police officer to be in that position. Right. They created this mess. He wanted them to clear and provide explanation and apologies which they did. It's amazing because the same person who was all over Tresor's face, antagonizing him, was, I will say, an angel. He was very, very sorry. At least he appeared to be sorry. He explained what had happened. He apologized. I will tell you though, I am listening to him. I'm just relieved that my husband was home.
Right. Does that relieve the hurt and the harm that they done
it
to your
did not.
family?
All I could think about, especially the night after this happened, was how many times had they made this type of mistake? How many times they've issued that type of apologies? Was it even sincere, or at this point was rehearsed? Like they've done it so many times. And for the first time, I mean, it was a horrible night. I started thinking about my boy growing up here, growing up in this country, and having to always watch out, looking over his back because somebody would eventually make this type of mistake because he's black.
And could it be they were apologizing so profusely because of such a horrible error they had made in judgment?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, as you would probably agree, both Sachs and the police have plenty of experience to handle this type of situation. Sachs is a huge organization. They do have a sophisticated, high-end security system, I'm assuming. The same way they had those guys, the right people, the people who shoplifted, caught on camera. I'm sure they had Tres on camera as well while he was shopping them. Why wouldn't they do their due diligence? Put the pictures together. Even if somebody at that moment thought this is the guy who was here a few times this week or the week before we stole from us, they could have gone out the way they did, took his information, I don't know, license plate and all that. But before they ran to the police, do their due diligence. And when they went to the police could have done the same thing. I mean, for them, this is probably routine. But for us, I don't think they realize what they caused. I mean, now my daughter, my husband and myself, when we go out to shop, we're thinking in our head, somebody's watching us. Somebody's going to think we're stealing, for the first time. And I say this to whoever I tell this story to. I've heard shop while black. It never made sense to me.
And now it does.
Now it does.
That's why I was going to ask you, Mr. Phanzu, what did you expect from Sachs, and how do you feel now after being such a loyal customer?
Well, I felt sour tastes basically, and I felt like they could have handled it a little bit better. So
a little bit,
yeah, a little bit. That's figuratively, but they could have done a much better job, kind of look into it, and then I felt disloyalty, to the customer, and they lost a customer for life, and 100 other people that I know, won't be shopping there for a long time, because they failed to do their job properly. By doing so, the Chesterfield also did not do a good job following up on that. So both of them should have looked at the picture closely and do a little more investigation prior to handling the way they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I had to make you relive that again today, but I'm glad we were able to get the story out.
I'm all good about talking about this as long as we can contribute to move the needle to the right direction, right? Because it's something ultimately we have to discuss, we have to keep on bringing up. I think this happened way too often, and it doesn't always get out there.
Right.
So if we have the opportunity, we're in a position we can put this out there, at least to start a discussion, I'm happy to do so, although it's hard for me to relive this. It seems like it's not going away. It has been hard for me to forget, and same thing for my children. And we're seeking therapy even for them, because I am personally building this resentment every time I see a police officer. And I'm saying this very carefully because I know better not to put everybody in the same group.
Right.
There are bad guys and good guys. So I'm not trying to mix all of them up. But it's something that we have to walk through, and I want to make sure that my kids don't resent the police or anyone else because of what happened to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.